Who is God? Deeply think about that. Who is God? Is God a name you like? Is God a name you trust? Is it the white man with the beard up in the sky? Is it something that you despise? Something that you feel ashamed of? Something you resist? Something that you love? Who is God to you? Do you have another name for it? The universe, infinite intelligence, Allah, Buddha, your own name? What's the first word that comes to your mind when you think of who is God? What if God is all? What if God is complete? Divine. You. Not your name, but that's included. But you. The you that is beyond the body, beyond the persona. It's beyond what you like or dislike, the stories that have happened to you, the traumas, the personality, the astrology sign. What if God was that you that's still there when you go to sleep? The you that is there when you die? The you that is always watching when all of this is constantly changing? The you that has been there since the beginning of your life? The you that is always there when everyone else is gone? What if that God is just that sense that just kind of hovers around here, that feels things outside of the body, that intuitively knows things? That God that also lives from here in the heart, or this area of the heart space, that feels connected to even insects or a rock, that can pull the words from someone's mouth before they're barely getting them finished, that has a sense of foresight of what's going to come, or that can remember memories from the beginning of their life, but can't remember yesterday's dinner. What if that was God? Suppose it's true. Suppose it's not outside of you. Perhaps it's something you've prayed to, and it's something you've looked for and have been on a journey to discover. And all along you've been asking for it to guide you, asking for it to give to you, asking for it to help you, when all along it was inside. It was always there. It's like that infinite eye just watching, so present to everything you're going through. It's not judging, it's not doing a whole lot, it's just present. It's just there. like the spaciousness. All along we've been looking for completeness outside of ourselves, wanting something bigger than us to save us, something to rescue, something to fulfill, something to give us hope and meaning and purpose, a relationship, a career, a car, a new home, a baby, a dog, an art project, some way of serving others, all of which are great. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But in lies incompleteness in all of that. Because all of that is within this dream, this Maya, this illusion. All of these things reflect God, but are not God. Because God is within. And this is a reflection of what's within, but it's incomplete. Anything that can die and can change is incomplete. That's why we find hopelessness in everything, because eventually it will change and it will be incomplete and it will be no more. Completeness is the only thing that lasts. God, the only thing that remains when all else changes. And that's why you can only find your salvation and your sense of completeness and your wholeness in this. The only thing that's real, the only thing that's eternal, the only thing that doesn't change. You can call it the universe, call it God, infinite intelligence, consciousness. It doesn't really matter what you call it, but it's in here. It resides in this awareness. And all these beautiful things that we view and that we experience are incomplete and temporal. They're material. They're just reflections. They're divisive. They have opposites. They're dualistic. They're paradoxical. Jesus says, love the world, but don't be a part of it. Enjoy it, but just know it's not real. The kingdom of heaven is within. So if you look for your happiness and your bliss outside of this, you'll suffer. You can enjoy it, but the eternal truth is it's all going to go away. Every last bit. Every last bit of everything you're looking at is only for a moment, however long that moment is. That moment could appear to be 80 years. Some might be more like 1,000 years. Some things might be only for 10 minutes, but it's just a mere moment in the dream, in the Maya, in the illusion. It's just a moment, so it's not real. And the good news is, the blissful news is that because it's not real, because it's temporal, it can't hurt you. It can touch the body, it can impact the body, it can change the course of this seemingly so-called life that we're living, but it can't hurt you. God, the God you. It can't touch that. You can't touch any of that because all of this is a mirage. And so what's a vapor to the eternal light? The eternal light burns that out. That eternal light shines brightness and shows just how temporal this is. That cloud. So luckily, when we feel hit by life, when life feels like its forces are coming up against us, and we get lost in the dream, and we forget that we are this eternal light, and we believe ourselves to be this mortal human, we can remember we're this eternal light. And so when it appears the forces are coming against us through a breakup, a financial crisis, a health problem, some sort of unknown, appears to be this dark cloud, feels so heavy and dense, we can remember it's not real. It's just a moment. It's literally just a moment in time, in existence, infinity. It's just a moment. But we are the infinite, the eternal now, eternal bright sun, the rays of God. It's who we really are. So when we abide in knowing this and ask ourselves, who am I? Who is it that thinks these things? Who is it that feels these feelings? Who is it that is experiencing this body? We're only left with this. And so whatever comes our way, it burns up inside of that sun. It burns up inside of that light. It burns up inside of the truth. Now that's not just to say you're not going to experience impact in the body, in the story. The body will experience impact, but you as God can kick back and stay in bliss by watching, by not reacting, by abiding in the self. Say you get a diagnosis. Who says you have to react? Who says you have to do anything? Maybe you will. Maybe the body will just naturally start changing the diet and doing what it needs to preserve and take care of itself. But you, the sun, doesn't have to shut down just or let the cloud, the diagnosis, block it. In fact, you can be brighter. You can remain in bliss. You can just watch it and remind yourself that sure, the body could absolutely die. The body could shut down through this diagnosis, but you're the sun. You cannot die. The body could fade, but you're the sun. And so you're eternal. And so you will create again and again and again and again and again for all of eternity. The body might go, but you are the sun. And so you have nothing to fear. And more than likely, by abiding in the sun, you're going to help that diagnosis. It's not to say you won't die through that diagnosis, but you don't have to suffer through that diagnosis. And there's a strong possibility that you might even burn up that diagnosis by just abiding in bliss, by not reacting. You'll do what you need to do, but you don't have to completely suffer over it. You don't have to completely shut down and go into a depression and fight and resist it. You might get a little upset, but you also might not. You might just say, I agree. It's just a moment. It's just an experience for the body to go through, but I am in bliss. I am bliss. So I accept whatever is going to happen in the story. It's just a moment. is just a mere cloud. And my love and my eternal light will burn it up. It will change. It will not last. It will not carry through. It's just a moment. And you can go on your whole life like this. Life is no doubt going to serve up all different stories. All different things are going to happen through it. That's what we came here for. That's what God designed this world to be. The infinite supreme intelligence is allowing the body to experience a whole array of experience to know itself. And so sure, we can't know what's coming, but we can remain in peace and harmony and understand that this is not real. This is a dream. So when someone calls you out or triggers you, when you get this unexpected job loss, breakup, you lose a pet, car accident, or you just stub your toe, I encourage you just to watch it, to not react, to not fall back into protecting the human. What is the human protecting? An ego? Is it trying to not die? Because the human will die. But that's not who you are. Who you are is infinite, and there's nothing to protect. And as soon as you start realizing there is nothing, no thing, things aren't real, there's no thing to protect, you will expand that awareness of bliss. You will ride those waves, one with the ocean, the surfboard, the sun, and the sky. So becoming fluid. Sometimes you're gonna crash, you're gonna forget, and you get lost in the dream. But the more you sit back, become aware, who is God? It's not your ego, not your body, not your story. It's that silence inside of yourself. When you abide in the self, when you sit in the silence, sit in a stillness. This doesn't mean you live on a meditation cushion, though it helps to sit and still yourself on a regular basis. But you can learn to still the mind and still the thoughts and imagine the mind more or less on a meditation cushion, a non-reactive place, very quiet inside. When you start abiding in that, you're in a seat of awareness. You're in that eternal light. And so you get an IRS bill, or you have an argument. You might slip, you might go into this reactive, protective mode. You might want to get upset, but then just come back. Who cares? Just come back. As soon as you remember, just come back. Just get back on your board. Just get back up. The greatest thing about surfing and bliss is you can crash a million times, but you can't drown. You can't die. You can't die. So you can be surfing the biggest waves of life. You can crash and you can fall hundreds of feet into the ocean. But you can't die. It might feel treacherous to the body. You might have to swim harder and take a break and collect yourself, and then you just go back into your stillness. You just get back up. But you cannot die. You know what bliss feels like? There are no words. You just marvel at the dream. You marvel at the people you thought you didn't like. You realize that they too were all part of the process and helping you awaken. They were by design pushing you. They were part of that wave, helping you to see the truth. They aren't real, not in the way that you thought they were. And so you see that while you thought on the deepest level they might kill you, you know, just your ego at most, hurt you with those words or even those impacts, you realize they can't hurt you. You are the only thing that's real. You. And so they can't hurt you. And the more you abide in the self and the bliss, you just find them amusing. They could call you the worst words possible. And when you abide in the self, you just realize words are just, they're just stuff. Bliss is beyond the words, so anything of words is dualistic. It just doesn't matter. Even a compliment doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's meaningless. Because bliss is outside of all that. Just sees the dream for what it is, and it's able just to be. So you sit amazed and you marvel at the dream. You watch the world, but you're not in it. Think about some of those yogis and gurus in India. Rana Maharshi just wears a diaper, and several of them, they have to have other people aid them, take them to the bathroom and feed them, because they've succumbed to living in bliss so much that they just don't even care about the body anymore. The body means nothing to them. The dream means nothing to them. The bliss is so good, it's so rich, that they would rather just sit and be. And so they've just allowed the dream to take care of them, so that they could be a beacon and a doorway to teach these messages. It's not to say that you have to go live on a mountaintop and wear a diaper, give up all your belongings, and you can succumb to all of that But you can live in bliss while driving your car and doing your work, making love, being with your family, participating in the holidays. You can just quiet the mind. You can even be talking, but you can have a quiet mind and just watch and just know none of this is real. So I'm just gonna watch and have fun with it. I liken it to playing Barbies. You know, we often get lost in the little Barbie doll and think that she's us. But when you realize you're the one playing the Barbie, you're the hand holding her, you know that the other dolls, if they hit her or slap her, they can't hurt her. She's plastic, it's not real. Same is true for us. And not all her shopping sprees and all the beautiful clothes that she buys and all those things, they're just for fun. She's just having fun cutting off her hair and, you know, maybe kissing Ken and going in her beautiful car and all her epic adventures. It's all for fun. And that's exactly what we are. So anything you do, if you manifest your mansion or your dream lover or, you know, that perfect career and make an art piece that sells for $1 million, it's just for fun. But you know, back here, it's not real. It has no impact on who you are. It means nothing to this. It doesn't make you better or worse than anything else. It just is. It means nothing to this. So you can go into this dream and build it up, but like a sandcastle, it'll all be blown over, and it means nothing to this. It's the coolest thing. Who is God? Who are you?